This newscast is brought to you by Qberg.com, Pittsburgh's source for LGBTQ plus news and community information. To learn more about Qberg, check out their website at Qberg.com. That's QBURGH.com. From the Pep Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. A lesbian police lieutenant has been awarded $750,000 in a settlement with a New Jersey town after she accused the local police chief of discriminatory conduct based upon her sexual orientation and gender. The settlement, reached in August, was recently made public through an open records request by Transparency New Jersey. The lawsuit, filed by Constance Crea against the township of Piscataway, alleged former police chief Thomas Mosier subjected her to persistent sexual and sexual orientation harassment and abuse. Her suit detailed a litany of abusive behavior directed at her. Craze was one of the 6 complaints lodged by department staff against the now retired police chief. Craig accused Mosier of habitually yelling at her and making degrading comments, telling her to doll herself up and asking repeatedly, "Who's mowing the grass?" a reference to sex with her wife. Crea said Mosier admitted to promoting a straight colleague into a competitive position so he could stare at her in her yoga pants. As the same colleague walked by the chief's desk, the chief allegedly grabbed his genitals and rubbed them while making sexual moaning sounds in self-gratification. Crea was alone with him while he allegedly did this, her suit stated. The lawsuit said Mosier failed to discipline officers when they placed an inflatable naked female doll in a glass window visible to civilians at the station. Catcalls in the presence of other female officers often occurred. The lawsuit also stated that Crea was shut out of discussions of personnel and administrative issues and never selected to participate in the department's hiring process. The chief accused her of both managing her subordinates too actively and barely doing her job when she gave officers more freedom to do their work. Mosier treated heterosexual female officers entirely differently than he treated Crea. The lawsuit stated, pointing to COVID-19 pandemic rules allowing heterosexual women officers to work at home while requiring Crea to work in person. And now this news. Lambda Legal, the ACLU, and the ACLU of Maryland joined the law firms Hogan, Lovells, and Jenner & Block, and they have sued the Trump-Vance administration over its issuance of an executive order banning gender-affirming care nationwide for patients younger than 19. The lawsuit, filed Tuesday in the U.S. District Court for the District of Maryland, seeks preliminary and permanent injunction preventing the agency defendants, including any sub-agencies of defendant HHS, from enforcing or implementing the denial of care and the gender identity orders. PFLAG National and GMLA are also representing the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, 7 families with transgender or non-binary children. Trump's executive order last week prohibits health insurers run by the federal government, including Medicaid and TRICARE, from funding medical care for transgender and diverse youth that is recommended by mainstream scientific and medical organizations like the American Medical Association. Hospitals throughout the country subsequently suspended or shut down their gender-affirming care programs. Those that have acknowledged the move publicly cited the administration's order, which threatens federal funding and grants for noncompliance. New York Attorney General Letitia James issued a letter on Monday, signed by a coalition of 22 state attorneys general, informing hundreds of recipients of federal funding, including healthcare providers, who were informed that funding cannot be frozen or withdrawn on the basis of providing gender-affirming care to minors. Likewise, the lawsuit filed by Lambda Legal and the ACLU argues the executive orders are unlawful and unconstitutional, first, because they seek to withhold federal funds previously authorized by Congress, and second, because they violate anti-discrimination laws. Tune in this evening at 6 for News in an Hour, our latest news and commentary program. Be sure to download the Live 365 app to take Pep Radio with you wherever you go. That's the news at this hour. Now back to more music on Pep Radio.